Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Coffee with Cagnetta. And today we have a very special guest. We have Alec Ingold of the Miami Dolphins. And he does so much more that he has a great backstory. We wanted to talk to him about it today. Welcome, Alec. How you doing?
Appreciate it, man. I love being on an entrepreneurship podcast.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm an entrepreneur at heart, but it's
You
nice.
are an entrepreneur. You're doing so many things beyond football. I mean, we have to talk about football a little bit, right? You started your career as an undrafted free agent.
Yeah, that was wild, man. Being able to, you go through this journey of, low ranked recruit. You build
Right.
yourself up. You get benched your junior year, and then you have the perfect senior season. Like #1 fullback coming out of the draft, expected to go in 5th, maybe 6th round.
Right.
Worst case scenario. And you're sitting with family and friends for like 4 hours on that third day of the draft, just
waiting.
Every call I got was like, "Hey, man, we loved you. We're not going to pick you. If you want to come as an undrafted guy,
Right.
you can come out here." And but that's how I got my start. Little window of an opportunity, and made the most of it.
You made the most of it. It's funny. I've spoken to some other NFL players, and they talked about that coaches need reliable guys. And if you want to have a career in the NFL, you're either a superstar, which they're willing to put up with your crap,
Yep.
or you got to be like a really solid guy that shows up to practice, is ready to go, is a team player. So it sounds like that's where you kind of fit in.
My skill was being coachable. Like,
Right.
I feel like that is a skill. Being able
Yeah.
to listen, take coaching, have a growth mindset every day. I kind of just live that life, and you don't, obviously being a superstar is great, but that's not me. So how can I find these 1% edges in everything else to fully max out, to fully be, the best teammate, best player I can be? Like, that's what you got to do. So it's kind of what it takes. But I think coachability is a skill that kind of translates any industry you're in.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 1,000%. So let's go back, right? So from Wisconsin, Green Bay.
Yes, sir.
Green Bay fan?
I was, yeah, a long time ago. It was literally.
Do you have to change teams every time you change now, or
Yeah, I mean, whoever's
paying you?
Yeah, 100, whatever organization. This one's the one that's you live and die with this team. And
Sure.
you have to go all in. So
Right.
yeah, the fandom ended as soon as you get into the industry.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, but you were a wrestler as well.
I was a wrestler. I feel like that helped so much.
Yeah, no, I can imagine like playing football. It's a lot about technique. I went to Lehigh.
Yep.
So
Love that.
right, lots of wrestling buddies
Yep.
at Lehigh and watching really wrestling. And it wasn't about strength. It wasn't about being bigger. Of course, they were always trying to cut, but that's a whole nother story, right?
It is a story.
And so, yeah, because my buddy could spit about 3 pounds. I mean, yeah.
Just miserable. He's in the sauna with like a little popsicle stick, getting every ounce of sweat off him. Little suckers that you're just trying to, it's an absolute disaster.
But you learn technique. Technique wins wrestling matches.
Technique wins, toughness, being able to finish, ultimate conditioning. Like when you're in a practice room in the wrestling facility, in the wrestling world, that's like you're manufacturing the most difficult circumstances you could possibly undergo in any athletic situation. So any wrestlers that are coming out in the draft, or I'm sure they're great employees, like
Right.
willing to go above and beyond. It's just how they're wired. I mean, wrestlers are a little different, a little screw loose, but I feel like it's a great thing to have.
But that's, I think, part of your success, right? So when did you start playing football? At the same time you were doing the whole time?
Man, so my dad was he was an All-American wrestler in college.
Right. I saw that, I think. Yeah.
Varsity head coach while I was growing up. So like my first steps were on a wrestling mat. That was my first love. That's where my group, my guys were. I didn't start playing, flag football or whatever until 2nd, 3rd grade, start playing tackle football. So I was wrestling much earlier than that, tournaments at 4 years old,
Wow.
going around. And that was a little scrapper back in the day.
But, and you talk about being an entrepreneur. And so your dad was a teacher / coach, right? And your mom was
A school teacher.
school teacher as well, right? So you came from, I don't want to say blue collar background, but I always say I came from a very middle class kind of family, and you kind of learn to like do things on your own and be an entrepreneur, like you were talking earlier. So what is that your mindset? Like what what kind of drives you to do all the things? I mean, you're an amazing football player and working to make yourself better. But on top of that, you want to make your community better. So you've excelled at that as well. What drove you to do that?
Well, I mean, I think growing up in Green Bay, I always saw Packers players in the community. And
Huh.
those were like my superheroes, right? Those were the people that I wanted to be like one day. And seeing their impact, and it didn't have to be something big. It's like in the grocery store and you just see them, checking
Right.
out. You're like, holy cow. You see them on Sundays and they're like superheroes. You see them at your school talking about being a great kid. Man, I took that to heart. I felt the impact that they could have in environments because of what they did. So I felt like if I ever made it to the NFL, if I was ever going to have that platform, I was going to squeeze every ounce of opportunity from that platform to make the world a little bit better place and just kind of share your story, be there, be vulnerable, be open. So I learned that at a young age. Yes, obviously, probably because of my parents too, educators. They always loved teaching and inspiring and coaching. So yeah, I just kind of put that in a little pot and tried to be that ambassador for good in the world, good with football, becoming something bigger than just yourself. And the more that you can do that, all of a sudden I'm starting to learn. My mind's so active, you start to see trends and themes beyond football. And it's like becoming a part of a team in a locker room. You see it in an office space. You see it in the nonprofit space. You see it in our community. I just want to be a part of it.
That's amazing. And you were adopted. How much of that is part of your story as well?
Yeah, I think it opens your perspective to the amount of people that can impact your life. You don't have necessarily that visual representation or a path laid out straight in front of you. Like, this is what you're going to do. This is what you're good at because everyone else was good at that.
Right.
So you're able to blaze your own trail, but also you get to see that village of people, coaches, teachers, mentors, parents, obviously, friends, teammates that have positive impacts in your life. That entire community I felt at home. So learning those lessons or just kind of walking through that in life, I just wanted to be a positive piece of that community.
So you've taken that being part of the community, you've excelled at that. You've been the Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee 3 years, 2 years here in Miami, one in, was it Vegas or was it Oakland?
It was Vegas. Yeah.
Okay, so you made it to Vegas. And so you've excelled at that, being obviously the best on your team at it. How do you think that rubs off on the other guys as well?
I think you lead by example. You do things the right way. You show up, being a positive influence and doing things the right way. Doesn't have to stop in the locker room. Doesn't have to stop on the practice field. Doesn't have to stop on the game field. It can go out into everyday life. So having an extremely supportive wife obviously helps when we're going around networking and doing all the community work. But at the same time, I think it's like you are fully living the best version of yourself every day at all times. And that can feel tiring at some point, but it's almost like a skill. Like, and then you don't have to pretend like, oh, I have to put on this face or I have to be bigger than, whatever I am. You just get to be you. And the more you figure that out, the more you put yourself in uncomfortable environments,
right?
Kind of figure out who you are and how you want to move. And I think that's a great lesson to lead a group of guys that are all in the locker room at the same time. Like, we can be great here, but we can also be great just in life, around the facility, in the community, and whatever your pursuits are.
I have two big football fans in my life. One is Kip Hunter, and she's amazing, one of the most knowledgeable football fans. And the other big football fan I have in my life is Kathleen Cannon, the United Way CEO. And so you are a favorite of both of them. So obviously you're doing something right. They see what you're doing in the community and want to back you. So the Ingold Foundation, you started that family foundation.
We started the family foundation. I had a torn ACL out of a current day-to-day job and just wanted to put some legs behind all of the work that I was doing. I knew I volunteered or wanted to volunteer and didn't really matter what it was. Like, if it's handing out food, if it was going to a football camp, like, I would do anything just to find what my interests were, what I was good at, the groups that I wanted to be a part of. And obviously once I got that experience, I was like, okay, let's help these adopted youth, be advocates for youth in foster care, share my story of adoption, share my family's story. And then let's create really cool environments where they get to feel like kids. Just take all the stress out of it. Let's empower them. Let's educate them through life lessons learned in sports. and just allow for these smiles to come out, whether it's a haircut, whether it's a pair of shoes, whether it's one of our events or programs that we put on. Let's just make them feel like kids, make them feel special because they're unique and special. And creating those environments are extremely purposeful for me.
So you think you'll keep doing that beyond football? I don't even have to ask the question.
100%, man. That's a lifelong journey. I think that's we'll tweak it, we'll pivot. As an entrepreneur, you have to.
Yeah, of course, right?
You have to wear all the hats, but I love doing it. And I think it brings so much meaning and perspective to your life. I would urge anybody watching this to just get out, volunteer, whatever your thing might be. You might not know it yet, but trying, you figure out what you like and what you don't like.
So you're having a big golf tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Try to raise some more money.
What do you think you're going to shoot there?
I don't want to say.
Okay.
It's been a little while, but it's a scramble, right?
It is a scramble.
Do I have to?
It's a team game.
It's a team game, so we're hopefully going to be at least under par at some point.
It's a great goal for a scramble, as long as we're beating the course.
I think try to get at least one person that's hitting the fairways. So it should be a lot of fun. It's going to be a beautiful day, hopefully, and you raise a lot of money. And talk about some of the things you're doing in the community as far as like programs.
Yeah, so that fundraiser is going to be great. Getting the community together, I think, is the most important there. Our programming really comes down to three main operations, right? We have a financial literacy money mini camp. We do a free youth football camp every year. And then we also do mindset, mental health for young people trying to be the best version of themselves. So those three pillars, we try and program in the community, open to those groups of individuals, the youth, and then we're always bringing in our adoptive, our foster care, our group home partners to be a part of those communities, as well as some great give back. So all those funds will go to those initiatives.
Wow, you're doing such great work, and so we love you here in South Florida. What do you love about South Florida?
Ooh, what do I love?
I mean, you're
about
from
South
Wisconsin,
Florida?
right?
So
it's a
first
little
is weather.
different, right?
Weather has to be number one. Absolutely. I don't care if it's 95 in September or August. It's touching 100. Like, as long as the sun's out, I'm good.
Yeah.
So love the weather. I love the people. I think the culture is outstanding here.
Right.
Obviously, the food, you get so many different food spots, but going to like a Costco and just seeing families moving around and just it just seems like a very supportive community, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
All right. What's your favorite restaurant to go to?
Ooh,
or some of them.
Favorite restaurant. So I'm like a seafood type of guy.
All right.
Yeah. So, Kip Hunter, we talked about being a part of the relationship. She gave a recommendation. I'm going to KYU. It's Key.
Yeah, Q. Yeah.
Unbelievable. That is probably primo. That's the best recommendation from like somebody I know that was like, this hit so perfectly.
Yeah,
so.
it's a nice place. She's taken me there too. So
there you go.
It's a great place. So if you weren't in the NFL, what would you be doing?
I had a job lined up with Oracle.
You did? I saw
did.
that. Actually.
Yeah, so I'd probably still be selling software, Oracle, tech somewhere to somebody. So I was willing to climb that corporate ladder and put in that hard work and dial those phone calls and cold call my way up to the top. So yeah, I think that's what I probably would have been doing.
Right.
I think now that I've been in the NFL and I've been able to kind of get exposed to teamwork and, elite performers, I do love corporate culture, leadership, being able to build high-performing teams. I think it's very nuanced. I think it's very tough to kind of pinpoint it. But those challenges, I think, if I were able to be a leadership consultant one day, I think that would be a lot of fun.
I think you're on your way. You've had a TED Talk?
I did have a TED. Yeah, it was a TEDx talk last week. Unbelievable. Man. It was.
Was it nerve-wracking? I have one coming up, so I'm a little.
Oh, you'll be great. It's fun. It's a very encouraging environment. The only nerve-wracking piece for me is the morning of. We have to check in. You have all these people you have to contact and make sure all right. My phone drops off of the kitchen counter. Face down, phone's broken, won't turn on. Not just the screen cracked or anything. It was just like off. Could not turn on. So I'm freaking out, right? We got to go to Verizon. We got to get this new phone. I need to like talk to people.
Right.
And for whatever reason, the phone wasn't uploading. So we're trying to get there and figure out where we got to check in. We get all set up. We're going in. They tell me I'm in the last session. So you're going to sit there for 4 hours, 5 hours, and you're going to hear all these inspiring speakers, all their different voices, and then you're going to go up at the end. So I'm like, okay, I'm just taking in the environment, doing my thing. I get backstage. I have a microphone on. We're all set to go. They're introducing me, and the microphone dies. So as they're introducing me, I'm getting my microphone, my headphone adjusted, the battery pack put in. They're like scrambling, whatever. We get it all set up, and I walk on stage and gave a 12-minute speech that, you know, I tried my absolute best at, but it was just like little thing after little thing was kind of just nitpicking. Almost missed my flight on the way out. So it was good to be on the stage. I hope that your experience does not go as tumultuous as mine.
It was scaring me.
It was little mosquito bites all day that was just kind of getting me off my game. It was little tests along the way.
But isn't that pro sports? Isn't that doing what you do? Isn't that wrestling? Isn't that expecting the unexpected? Being able to deal with adversity when it hits you and you didn't see it coming.
100%. You got to rely on your preparation, your training, and as soon as you get up on that stage, you got to give the best speech of your life, regardless of what happened prior. So, yeah, I had to walk the walk before talking the talk.
I can imagine. So what's one thing about yourself that would surprise most people?
Ooh, what's one thing? You know, I'm pretty open. So if anybody knows anything about my story, it's the adoption stuff.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
normally my go-to, but we already covered that. I would say that I do enjoy reading quite a bit. Like,
Nice.
So planes, anytime I'm like moving forward, cars, planes, Uber rides, I feel like my mind just goes in those spaces. I feel like the Lincoln Lawyer almost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you get Mickey Howler back there in the back seat, just going away, writing, journaling. So I like forward moving, reading. Like that's my happy
Are you a
spot.
paper guy, or you got an iPad, or you're listening?
So I'm a paper guy. I've seen those new, like, I don't know. It's almost like a Kindle, but it's
Right.
also like a notebook. I don't know what they're called, but
Yeah.
those look sharp. I might have to get one of those.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So what other habits and routines have made the biggest difference in kind of your performance? You said you're always working on yourself. You need that 1%. What are some of the things? Is it eating? Is it working out? Is it stretching? Is it?
It's framing my day, honestly, mentally. So like structured quiet is the beginning of the day. You know, I find it in a steam room, or whether it's a sauna, cold tub, whatever that is, I feel like it helps me figure out how I'm feeling, like kind of what is today, like what is today going to bring, how am I going through it? And whatever those thoughts are in this structured quiet, it allows you to be like, okay, this is how I'm feeling. This is what I need to accomplish. And you get to control your response to however you're feeling and whatever you have to get done. That is game changing for me.
So how do you outlive you've already outlived the average NFL career?
Yeah.
I think it's what, 2 years, something like that?
2.5, 3 years.
Two and a half, 3 years. So you've already basically, how long do you want to play? I mean,
As long as the Dolphins let me in the building, man. I got 2 more years under contract and trying to be the best fullback in the world for 2 more years. And then we'll see after that if I can keep playing, if the body's holding up, if the Dolphins are winning and we're building the thing that we think we're building. I think that's I would love to play as many years as I possibly can as a Miami Dolphin.
Yeah, I mean, the Dolphins, we're all Dolphin fans here in South Florida, whether we came from other places and we're fans elsewhere. What do you think? I mean, the Dolphins have a lot of moving parts right now, including quarterback. You got a quarterback. It should be his year. Hopefully, he stays healthy. He's a great quarterback when he's healthy. You're filling in the pieces, it seems.
Yeah, I think I've only been here 3 years, and there's been fans for 30 years, right? So I'm not going to pretend like I know the ups and downs that everyone else has been through. But I do feel like the first year I was here, we had some adversity, didn't probably perform the way we wanted to. Next year we come back, Hard Knocks is covering us, and we were like breaking all these records, right? So that was great. And then last year was kind of the same as the first year, right? Where it was like, man, we kind of underperformed, didn't really have everything figured out with whatever adversity showed up in the season.
Right, sure.
So I think that's what I'm most excited for this upcoming year is how we are able to respond to that. I mean, last year, starting 2-6, nobody loves that.
No.
How do you respond 6-2?
Right.
Like,
I mean, you guys were on fire.
Channeling that momentum of like, we have learned lessons. We've developed a core group, a nucleus that knows how to win. You're experienced. I feel like taking all of that like anger and frustration from last year and applying it to our response this year, that's what I'm most excited for.
Well, the Dolphins historically have been the opposite, right? They usually start out strong,
Yep.
and then they get to December and you guys did the opposite last year. You were like didn't start out well, then you ended strong, and what's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
I've had a lot of people, a lot of mentors in my life. One guy, Brandon Copeland, entrepreneur at heart, NFL guy. He, I called him up one day as a rookie and was like, man, I want to learn about this foundation stuff. Like, you're doing great things. I want to do what you're doing. What's some piece of advice? And his first piece of advice was, not everyone's built the way that you're built, and that's okay. And not in like a pretentious way. It's
Right.
like, you are unique. You have unique interests. You have unique drive, whether that's good or bad. Don't try and fit into a mold of whatever you think someone else is doing, right? Like, embrace your drive, your interests, and allow your passion to kind of fuel that success. That was one great piece of advice. Second piece of advice he gave me just this last year in a leadership group that I'm running, he said, the platinum rule, right? Like, you think you want to treat people how you want to be treated. He's like, that's not it. Build relationships with the people you work with every day and treat them how they want to be treated. Don't treat people how you want to be treated, because you're not like everybody else. Build a relationship, lay down some trust, understand how they work and operate, and treat them how they want to be treated. And I felt like that was a life-changing one for me too.
Both great pieces of advice. I mean, that was perfect. So, I think one of the things about being an entrepreneur is really important to learn is how to lose and how to come back after. And you talked about it, like you guys went 2-6 last year. You fought back. What are some of the things you do to kind of reset yourself after a loss? Listen, you were a wrestler. I'm sure you've lost on the mat before, so.
I've got my butt kicked a couple times.
I'm sure. I just saw things flash into your head.
Yeah, I'm just shaking right now. I need to get back in the gym or something. No, the beautiful thing about athletics is it's just this ecosystem of like manufacturing wins and losses and how you respond. Like, your character really comes in the wins and the losses, how you deal with success and how you deal with failure. Being able to learn those lessons through sports, football, wrestling, baseball, whatever it is. I feel like the biggest lesson I've learned with dealing with failure is, and this is another coaching thing I'm taking, but don't accept in success what you wouldn't in defeat. So when you win, everything's good, everything's rosy, you're feeling great, the scoreboard read it, but there's a couple plays that you kind of missed out on. And you're like, well, we won. It's not a big deal. But when you lose, you're watching that tape back, you're like, man, I need my foot right here. I need to be detailed there. I need to communicate better here. It's like having consistent growth and chasing those gains, regardless of the win or the loss. That consistency and that mindset over time will allow you to find better success and better prepared for the inevitable adversity that's all chasing us down.
Okay. And I see you have a couple of furry kids.
I got a couple.
Yeah.
2 doggos. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got Oakland and Fielder. We got a golden retriever and then a golden mixed with a Bernese mountain dog. So 2 big boys. They love the pool. Our golden loves South Florida, man. Loves laying out in the sun, hanging out. And the Bernese is like, dude, I'm in the air conditioning, man. Like, but we got a nice little pool for him. We got little floaties for him. Our Bernese, like, the water just weighs him down. So we got him a little life jacket so he can go around and swim in the pool. But they're a lot of fun.
All right. So you spend a lot of your time down here in South Florida. You like to get around out there as well. You're doing some traveling. You went back to Wisconsin.
Yeah, went back to Wisconsin for a few months this offseason, banking up time with family. Didn't realize that, been gone and out of the family ecosystem for about 6 years, just with the career of the NFL. So getting back around in-laws and family members, it was a great reset. I think family is a lot. It means a lot to me, but it's also, inspiring and energizing knowing that you're coming down here for a purpose. You're coming down here for work. You're coming back into a community you know and love. So, excited for this future, this 2025 year. And doing a lot of big things.
Yeah, it's going to be a good year for it. And when do you get started?
We get started
Yeah,
next
already.
week. In
Next
OTAs.
week.
Yep. So we're already back in the building. A lot of guys getting workouts in, completely optional right now. And we'll build the team this offseason for the 2025 Dolphins starting next week. It'll be exciting times. New horizons for us, new story, new journey, and we'll see who's all aboard on that roster.
Wow. It's we are rooting for you, not only as a Miami Dolphin, but we're rooting for you with all the things you do in the community. Thank you so much for everything you do. We really appreciate it. I love guys who are getting involved. So if you had advice, you gave some advice earlier for so many young people that may be listening. What's your advice to a young guy that's out there in the world, young girl that's out there in the world that, wants to be like you?
Yeah, I feel like if I was talking to a younger person or anybody, really, I do think that your value, your success is an inside-out job. Finding that purpose, working on the best version of self and who you are matters so much more than what you do, the titles, the external validation. So chase that internal growth. Chase becoming the best version of yourself. Don't try and be perfect. Don't put on a mask. We don't need that. We need you. We need the authentic version of you. We need the vulnerable version of you. So work on that, and everything else will follow in place.
It's amazing. Amazing advice. Thank you, Alec, for joining me today. Really appreciate it, man.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us today with Coffee with Cagnetta. I will see you next time for another great episode.